But when he discovered that we were losing more young men to gun violence on the streets of Chicago than on the battlefields of Afghanistan, he embraced another challenge. By utilizing the leadership skills he developed in the service of his country, Colonel Oaklander would try to make a real difference in the lives of young Americans by becoming a teacher at a public high school in Chicago.
The greatest threat to our nation is an uneducated society. Here in Chicago, depending on your zip code, you might have a 6% chance of graduating from college. At my school, 98% of our kids are minority. The cards are stacked against them in many ways, and through education, I'm getting the opportunity to completely change that dynamic.
Mr. Oaklander is someone you really don't expect to come into your school one day.
Here's a man who has so many credentials, and he's here teaching us what it is to become a man and a leader.
I first saw Mr. Oaklander when he happened to walk into my gym class. I challenged him to a push-up competition, and he beat me.
What we want to do with you is build each of you into great leaders. That's our mission. Positive, multi-generational change. All right? Okay.
Dennis one day came home and he tells me, "Hey Mom, I met this gentleman, his name is Mr. Oaklander, and he's talking to me about West Point, and I think I'm interested."
I learned that Dennis's father was a gang leader here in Chicago.
Dennis's father was not involved in Dennis's life.
I started to ask some of his teachers, and I got kind of mixed reports about Dennis. He had some character flaws at the time. I challenged him on a couple of areas that I wanted him to show some growth in. And he met my challenges head on.
I got my invitation to West Point, and it was shocking that I was accepted. I feel like I beat the odds.
So right now, I just got back from West Point. I'm in Chicago, and I'm about to surprise my mom. She doesn't know I'm here.
Dennis could have ended up selling drugs and taking his father's footsteps, being a gang leader or a murderer. But I knew Dennis was smart, and I knew that Dennis could become someone.
I wouldn't be at West Point without Mr. Oaklander.
Mr. Oaklander's going to be his father figure.
We talk about multi-generational change. In one generation, we've gone from a father who will probably be in prison for most of Dennis's life to a kid who's now going to be a leader for our nation. And that opportunity, it's inspiring.